Hey, what's up? This is Steve Cardenas, aka Rocky the Red Power Ranger,
and Jeff Barrazzo, Trent Fernandez Mercer from Battle Thunder,
and you are watching Team Venom Media.
It's morphin' time.
Dennis Oliver, Thorburn the Third.
Josh Valentine. Rory Bailey.
Paul Baker.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Team Venom's Power Ranger podcast. I'm your host, Rory Bailey, joined with Cali, Dennis, Paul, and a very special guest in the legendary composer of most of my childhood anthems, Ron Wasserman. How's it going, Ron?
Hey, good. How are you guys doing? How's everybody?
I'm good, thank you.
Very good.
I know it's a Power Ranger podcast and such, but the very first thing I wanted to ask you about is I got sent this from Julia Lewald, and it's got like the storyboards for the X-Men animated series on here. And so it's got all that breakdown, and it talks about how you worked on this and how you came up with that ridiculously awesome hook for the X-Men team. I just wondered, did you have the storyboards like that in front of you first, or did you have to come up with a tune?
I've never seen a storyboard.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Wow.
I have to get that book.
Oh, it's great. I think it was it's available on Amazon and things like that, and yeah, it's an awesome book. It's just I've had to rearrange all of my shelves to fit it on somewhere. so yeah.
That's great. All right. No, I never saw storyboards, and honestly, I can't remember what I saw that night. It seems to me there was the head of music, Ron Canan, and I were just getting together, and he probably said, "We have this show called X-Men, and they need a theme." It's a bit of a blur to me. All I remember is spending 2 weeks working on the track and on the mix, and always being told, "Turn the hi-hats up. We want more hi-hat, more." So, we get in the same frequency range as another sound. So it was, for those 2 weeks, I remember coming in and going, "I gotta work on this damn X-Men thing." Because I didn't grow up as a fan of the show. I didn't really know anything about it. So I wasn't like, "Wow, it's X-Men." I was like, "X-Men, Schmexmen." I don't know what this is.
Well, as a result of that, just thank you for providing me for 2 of my ringtones for the last 20 years.
Oh,
one being the X-Men and one being obviously Mighty Morphin and such. But that
great.
It's an absolutely awesome track for both of those. So that's awesome. I'll hand you over to Paul because I think he's short on time at the moment. So Paul, if you're like next.
Sure. No, first thing, it's a pleasure to talk to you, to meet you.
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you too.
It's freaking phenomenal. I'm loving it. It's loving it. But so I'm going to ask the question you probably get asked a million times. How the hell did you come up with the theme for Power Rangers?
All right. So they came in, or Ron came in and said, "We have this presentation for Fox tomorrow for a show called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We need you to bang out a theme." Now, I had planned to work on a song for my band Fisher that night. So I was a bit annoyed that I had to do this other project. It was rare that I had any free time, but I had some scheduled for my. So they came, I remember I called them, I said, "It's Morphin or Morphine? Are they Morphin?" "It's Morphin." And I wanted to get to the other track. So I just sat down, came up with that on a keyboard, that guitar riff, and just blew out the track in 2 hours. I put my guide vocals on it, and then the Fox loves it. And I said, who are we going to get to sing it? And they said, "No, it's done. Don't even change the." So I was spoiled rotten on that one.
Oh.
couple hours for probably the most iconic theme.
I know. You know, it happens from time to time. Not that I'm comparing myself, but you know, I've heard interviews with the Stones where they wake up and they're like, "Bum, ba, da, 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 da," and you know, stuff just comes. And then there's other times you're walking around in a circle for 2 days because you can't think of anything for what you need to write for. So it's a total crapshoot. It's all ending stuff out of thin air.
Damn.
So that was it, and it was done.
I'm
Yeah, it was a productive night. So I ended up actually their song for the Fisher project, and that ended up being in a movie called Great Expectations, which opened up the doors for us, and 8 years later we were signed. It was pretty funny. So it was an extremely productive evening. I'd like a few more of those.
We all
Calista?
What's that?
I'll shoot you right over to Callista because I know she's over there marking out right now.
Okay.
a little bit. I mean, I'm a bit of a girl. I'm not very kind of like minded like putting music together, but I love listening to music. And literally for the last years of my life, Go Go Power Rangers has pretty much been a consistent anthem in my life. I still have it as my ring even now. So I think my question would have, out of all the kind of songs you've done, not just for Power Rangers, but for things, kind of a two-part question. Which is your favorite theme that you did for Power Rangers, and what is your favorite overall?
Well, I do love Power Rangers theme, but I'd like S.P.D. a little bit more. And you know, and 12 years later, but there's something about that just had a great overwhelming energy. I don't think there could be any more energy than that. So that was a lot of fun to do. And then as far as other themes, so many of them have been really so nothing else totally stands out, because in the sitcoms they've all been really short themes.
Yeah.
And they'll be catchy for a second. As far as songs that are not related to television, again, back to Fisher, there's a song called I Will Love You, which is a piano vocal, probably my favorite song that I've written.
I will definitely have to check that one out then.
It was just pre-Adele. It was at a time where when it went to radio, and nobody will ever listen to a slow dirge female piano vocal ballad.
Well, of course not. That'll never catch on.
Yeah, that'll never work.
Oh yeah.
It does still around. If I had still been in contact with him after Adele, it would have been great to say.
Any questions from you?
Oh wow, okay. Just to get a chance to talk to the composer of my childhood soundtrack is
Thank you.
Incredible. Yeah, no. Okay, one thing I did have to ask is, I play guitar too, so I mean, you know, not only did you find the soundtrack to my childhood, but also it influeed the too. So I just had to ask, just your style of playing insane. I mean, it's the first time I heard anything like that. I mean, I do literally like credit Power Rangers for to heavy metal.
Excellent.
I really wasn't hearing like too much of that kind of music, and obviously all the crazy stuff I was hearing on the Power Ranger thing. I mean, I literally, I credit you with I probably heard my first tapping on the fretboard on the Power Ranger theme before I heard any like Van Halen. So whereas Eruptions, most people's reference for that Power Rangers theme is definitely the first time I heard that.
So I've got
what is he doing? How did I do that?
Well, I got a story for you. You're gonna love and you're gonna hate.
Okay.
So about 99 or 2000, I started hanging out. I had met Eddie Van Halen we started hanging out a bit. And one day he pulls out the guitar and he said, 2 fucking weeks to figure out how to play this thing. And because his son was a big fan and loved the song. So he learned the riff and he played me a little bit. He couldn't, remember, he wasn't playing it all the time. And he play it and he handed me the guitar or was handing it to me. And I said, and I went over to the piano and I said, I did everything on a keyboard, every bit of it. I don't play a guitar. I don't know how to play guitar. And I said, now the triplet thing was kind of a tip to you, but other than that, it's every song you've heard, somebody would eventually come in, but everything was done on keyboard.
Wow.
I never knew that.
It was hard to develop. It was hard to get that sound, a lot more. So the later stuff is a lot punchier, but because back in '93, it was hard to get that chunk like on the rhythm.
Oh yeah.
But it's kind of there. I mean, for all I know, the masters were destroyed. Everything was destroyed, and when Disney bought it, it's gone.
Oh, no.
So it's hard to know. It would be great to go back because I added like some sort of a sound to the downbeats on the thing. Like I said, I did it so fast. So it's all MIDI, that entire song.
Oh. I've never guessed that. That's crazy.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, come up with it then.
It's probably better. Maybe that's what made it so odd, is that it was done a bit from a keyboard perspective, even though I'd written for guitar players.
Right.
But now I watch people really playing it. Someone sent me some, it was Jason David, I don't know, the kid must have been 12 or 13, and he was playing the riff.
Yeah.
Talking about
This morning, it's just some little kid in a shop, David Jason Frank holding the White Ranger helmet, and this kid's just shredding away, and I'm there like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, he put him on the spot. That was pretty cute.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's fun. That's the best part, has been watching all these different versions of that theme or X-Men or other stuff that have been done over the years. It's really fun. I mean, somebody did it on, I can't remember, somebody did Power Ranger theme on bagpipes. I mean, it was pretty badass.
I gotta find that one.
Track that down.
Yeah, it's like that and the guitar player. It was pretty interesting.
Oh, wow.
Oh man, I'm about to find that.
Yeah, it's got to be somewhere.
Well, Ron, have you heard any of the stuff by a band called Power Glove? They predominantly cover TV and animated film. They do death metal versions of the X-Men theme and all the Power Rangers themes and stuff. Power Glove, that was something I heard randomly in a nightclub of all places. Like, it was out on some rock club, and all of a sudden you just hear the little shredding the intro thing from Power Rangers and stuff. Like, what's this song? Oh yeah, this like big time metal band's done it. So fair enough.
How fun!
But when you composed this back in the 90s, as you say, it was like a 2-hour thing, which is amazing that it was only a 2-hour session as well. But did you foresee that it was ever going to be like this big, where it's used virtually, like a deviation of it's used in every season, like some 30 years on, and in movies and things like that, and to the point where it became like a pop culture, the series became a pop culture phenomenon, and a lot of that's down to that theme. I never had a clue. I mean, ever worked on, do the work and move on to the next thing. So when they said Fox loved it, I've had that they've loved it. Like, great. Yesterday was Toyota, today it just moves on to the next project. It took quite a while. I didn't even know how successful the show was until they had this live appearance in Hollywood. It was the Hollywood Hills, and I heard on the news that the freeway was backed up for 5 miles. Wow. But I lived on the other side of the hill, over to Universal Studios. And then I remember they gave, like Saban put me kind of off to the side near the back.
And then they played that theme, and the whole I don't know how many people were there, 5, 6 singing it. And I went, wow, I guess this is kind of a big show. But I was so busy working on everything there that, and it's not like today, there wasn't, the internet essentially was in its infancy. So it wasn't, I was completely unaware of it was having. They only would get the Nielsen numbers. They'd say, we're doing great. They're huge numbers. Good, moving on. Same with X-Men. Dragonball Z, I didn't even realize that was a big show till maybe 2015. Somebody wrote and said, this is huge. It was a cult classic. And I said, no shit. And I started looking around, just did the first 2 seasons, not the theme, and forgot about it. I know that sounds kind of careless, but at that time, the workload was so intense. I had 25 years with 2 1-week breaks. I just was and doing 60 hours at least a week, constant. So you have no choice but to forget what you've done and keep the next project.
No, fair enough. Cali?
Like I said, not brilliantly musically minded, so I'm sort of trying to come up with questions that would make. I think you kind of touched on it a little bit, but sort of how make you feel that knowing that, like as you said earlier, it's like literally you just kind of did the job and went on to the next thing. But how do you feel that that one song that you wrote as just a job has become this massive anthem, as big as the show, if not bigger?
Oh, it's a lifetime. I mean,
I can imagine.
It's the dream of everybody who ever gets into any form of entertainment to have something with actual power.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty great. It's peculiar. It doesn't come up all the time. It's not something you just bring up, but when it does, oh shit, that's you. And then they never assume that I sang it, and then later on they'll find out I sung it, and they'll just go, "You sang it?" Yeah. I mean, so it's nice to have that on the resume, that and other shows. It's been great to have some huge successes, but something like this, I mean, we're 26 years now.
Yeah, 26
I mean,
years, yeah.
Most people hope 26 weeks.
Yeah.
You know?
Even hope for just 26 episodes.
Oh boy, do they. Yeah. So then the orders, I remember, were 52. We did 52 season. That was incredibly brutal schedule.
Oh, I can imagine. Definitely.
Yeah, cranking them out.
Oh yeah. But to this day, though, apart from the other favorite of mine has to be Go Green Ranger.
Oh yeah.
Just because Green Ranger's my favorite. Him, the Pink Ranger, Kimberly, just power couple. Literally Power Rangers couple.
Tried to make that a bit cooler because we had such the Go Power Rangers, so it was kind of cool to have the Go Green Rain. It's almost like this.
Yeah.
Just trying to smooth it out a bit and have more of a legato vocal holding out over the rhythm.
Yeah.
Because man, it's hard when you've got to score a show, not end to end, because you have music editors that are starting to do parts. But when you've got to score the other stuff, they want a song every few weeks. You just sit down and think,
heavy work.
What do I do? What do I do? But it's good because it's like exercising. The muscle was super and ideas just flowed. And all those songs are pretty much about, not all of them are about personal things going on, not good or bad. Like there's a song called Place where the enemy can't hide, da 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 da. It's about me and these guys and the music editors. We worked at nights, and at 10 o'clock we'd go to a bar around the corner. So it became I Know can hide from, the
Yeah.
work, the people. So,
Yeah.
but to picture in Power Rangers, it looked like it was about the show.
Yeah, definitely. I like it when songs, depending on your interpretation of the lyrics, it means something different to everybody else.
Yes.
And that's one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's all subjective.
Yeah.
And there's a song called a Tanga Bye Bye. Because
Oh,
every time I had a meeting with Hein, he's a busy, very wealthy guy.
Yeah.
So when he decided over and he has a Israeli accent, he would go, "Thank you, bye bye." And they said Tanga, I'm like, "Tanga, goodbye, bye bye," because that's how he would say it. So it's actually saying bye to me.
oh, that's brilliant.
Of an accent. My friend could absolutely ape Haim Saban's accent. Point of where Haim would see him, a group of executives, to my friend and say, "Do me."
Oh, that's great.
Very funny. He had a great sense of humor.
Oh, I bet. Rory, anything from you?
It's I'll pass
Oh,
it
yeah,
to
sorry,
Dennis.
Dennis. Yeah. Got confused.
That's okay.
Yeah, just kind of. I mean, a bit more on just the iconic impact of it all. Even if like maybe you weren't aware of it initially, though it's still great to, even with all the different series that have since the original Mighty Morphin, and to still hear, if not the original tracks, that at least versions or little snippets here and there of the original stuff. Like, I mean, like for me, like hands down, my favorite tracks probably definitely be the one.
Oh yeah,
But
all the 541.
I definitely love the Zords one. I think I was even I was watching, what was it, like Hyperforce or something, and I heard some music in that's the stuff of the original. So I mean, to be in one of the more recent series and still hear all the way back to the original one is, I guess it just goes to show how original score really was.
Yeah,
fix it.
It's been interesting. Yeah, it's good when they pull. Zord's cue was actually its name was Kitchen Sink One, meaning it would you could, and it's just the term we use. But when I've heard their themes and they'll pop in the vocals wherever they got them or they redo it, it's kind of fun. The only thing that's ever baffled me over all years is with Disney. I got, now that Hasbro has it, and we were talking, I thought, well, for sure they may want to go back to its roots and do for whatever reason, as this business goes, they haven't done it. And I'll contact once in a while and they're like, well, we're still going with, it's always the same. Like my friend is doing it. So that's the only part that's been peculiar to me, that and have it last so long, yet nobody really wants to bring back that sound.
Yeah.
And I think it would be beneficial for however they're doing it. If I went back to that, because people have done okay, but I know how to really make it work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And making metal work with live action is no easy feat. It's much easier to do our stuff, and which is just boring unless you're John Williams. Then you're genius.
It goes together great, though. The metal and the fight scene. I mean, that was some of the most iconic stuff ever.
And it was beautiful. It worked beautifully.
That definitely. And I was saying to Cali and Dennis on the first episode of this that one of the things that helped get me back into Power Rangers was we were going to a convention, and I was tasked with doing the mix CD for the journey there. We had 2 hours there, and I stuck on the Go Green Ranger Go, 541 and Fight as part of that playlist. And I hadn't heard them for a few years at that point. And by the time we got there, I was like, kind of don't want to go to the convention. I just want to go to the hotel and watch Power Rangers, just because those tunes just instantly sort of get to you, which is amazing. And so obviously thank you for that, because if not for
Oh,
how
sure.
good those were,
Oh,
I wouldn't have gone back to it and such. But we also we spoke to David Fielding the other week, who played Zordon, and
Right.
during the interview with him, he was very highly praising your work and saying about how great the score was himself on that. How does it
Really
feel
nice guy.
knowing, yeah, and well, how does it feel knowing that the cast all revere you and what you did so many years on?
Well, the entire cast. I mean, I did this shattered grid thing,
Ooh.
and that really ever sat with Jason for a bit, and he was shocked because he had, as far as he'd known for all those years, he thought Haim and Shuki names on it. That's the word. I mean, that's common in the business. I mean, you see Hans Zimmer's name that he hears it, but he doesn't write it. He's got a studio with a long hallway and a bunch of composers doing a lot of that work. It's just, you work your way up and then you start getting properly credited. But so he was shocked about that, but it's great, guys. But the original voice of Zordon was Bob Monahan, who was mixing the shows. And they said, well, as long as you're mixing it, we also do the voiceover and an extra $50. So Bob Monahan did it at first. So it's pretty interesting. The team effort, I mean, everybody doubled up on stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you were mixing, you could do a voice, you were on it. If you're doing sound effects and you can add a voice, you did. It was the Wild West. Now everything is by committee and a lot more difficult. That's a nice sound.
I think it's
My computer, sorry.
Oh, it's happy. It was happy sound.
mine's normally just dull and depressing, to be fair.
No, I think we're pretty much covered for now.
It's,
Wrap things up now, guys.
yeah, I've just realised we've hit the time limit on our normal episode. So thank you very much for joining us, Ron. It's been an absolute pleasure and an
It's been a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much.
Again, as I was like the biggest X-Men and Power Ranger fan, and a lot of that comes down to the music. So thank you very much. That's been awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. X-Men, I thought was a great show. I mean, I would sit and watch
Oh,
my
yeah.
friend cut the sound of, and it was just brilliant. That show was brilliant.
It was definitely.
Well, I think I can happily speak for everyone else on, as part of the team here. Anytime you want to join us again, we'd be more than happy to get you back on. There's lots more we could ask you about.
How about tomorrow? No, anytime. I'd love to.
Awesome. No, we'll definitely sort something out. It'd be awesome. Thank you again.
Cool.